Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the Sultanate of Oman is honored to address this council regarding the escalating hostilities in the Middle East and the growing crisis surrounding the Strait of Hormuz. As a coastal state bordering the Strait of Hormuz, Oman views the stability of this strategic waterway not merely as a regional concern but as a matter of international peace, economic security, and global prosperity. Any military escalation in this area threatens civilian life, disrupts international trade, and increases uncertainty across the global economy. Oman has consistently maintained that lasting security cannot be achieved through military confrontation. Our foreign policy has always been guided by dialogue, mutual respect, respect for sovereignty, and the peaceful settlement of disputes in accordance with the Charter of the United Nations and international law. The Sultanate therefore expresses its deep concern over the continued escalation of military action in the region. We believe that every action that increases regional tension risks widening the conflict and undermining ongoing diplomatic efforts. Oman has repeatedly called upon all parties to exercise maximum restraint, avoid further escalation, and immediately return to meaningful dialogue. Oman firmly believes that Strait of Hormuz must remain secure, open, and safe for international navigation in accordance with international law. The uninterrupted flow of commercial shipping through this vital maritime passage is essential not only for the Gulf region, but for the stability of the international economy as a whole. In the spirit, the Sultanate of Oman approaches today's discussion not as a party seeking confrontation, but as a nation committed to mediation, confidence building, and constructive diplomacy. Our objective is clear: to reduce tension, preserve regional stability, and promote peaceful solutions that benefit all nations. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the Sultanate of Oman believes that the current crisis in the Strait of Hormuz cannot be viewed as an isolated maritime security issue. Rather, it is the consequence of a broader pattern of regional escalation that threatens peace, stability, and international economic security. Oman has consistently maintained that sovereignty and territorial integrity of all states must be respected. Military action that violate this principle risks widening the conflict, undermining diplomatic efforts, and creating long-term instability across the Middle East. For this reason, Oman has repeatedly called for an immediate cessation of military operation and a return to political dialogue under the framework of international law. As one of the two coastal states bordering the Strait of Hormuz, Oman carries a special responsibility to preserve the safety of this vital international waterway. Nearly one-fifth of the world's seaborne oil trade passes through the strait. Any disruption to freedom of navigation affects not only the Gulf region but also energy markets, global supply chains, and the economic stability of both developed and developing countries. At the same time, Oman believes that maritime security cannot be achieved through military deterrence alone. Experience has shown that increasing military deployments in already fragile regions often heighten the risk of misunderstanding, accidental confrontation, and further escalation. Lasting security must instead be built upon confidence, communication, and diplomacy. Throughout its modern foreign policy, Oman has consistently chosen dialogue over confrontation. The Sultanate has served as a trusted mediator in numerous regional disputes because it maintains constructive relations with all parties while preserving its neutrality. This balanced approach enables Oman to facilitate communication even when official diplomatic channels become difficult. From Oman's perspective, no country will benefit from a prolonged conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. Regional states will suffer economically, global markets will experience greater uncertainty, and millions of civilians whose livelihoods depend on secure trade routes will bear the consequences. Therefore, the escalation remains not only a political necessity but also a humanitarian and economic imperative. The Sultanate of Oman believes that the international community must move beyond expressions of concern and take practical steps to prevent further escalation. First, Oman calls for an immediate ceasefire and full implementation of the principle of the United Nations Charter. Military action should never replace diplomacy. All parties must refrain from action that endanger civilian lives, violate the sovereignty of states, or threaten regional peace. Second, Oman support the appointment of a United Nations Special Envoy for the Strait of Hormuz. The role of this envoy would be facilitate continuous dialogue among the coastal states of the Gulf, coordinate confidence-building measures, and prevent incidents at sea from escalating into wider military confrontation. Such a mechanism would complement existing diplomatic efforts rather than replace them. Third, Oman proposes that the establishment of a regional maritime dialogue forum under United Nations auspices. This platform should include all littoral states of the Gulf. Together with relevant international organizations, its objective would be to promote transparency, establish direct communication channels, exchange information on maritime security, and reduce the risk of misunderstanding during periods of heightened tension. Fourth, Oman reaffirms that freedom of navigation must be preserved in accordance with international law, particularly the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital international maritime passage. Ensuring its security is a shared responsibility that requires cooperation instead of confrontation. Finally, Oman encourages all member states to support diplomacy through sustained political engagement. The Sultanate stands ready to facilitate dialogue whenever requested by the parties concerned. Throughout its modern foreign diplomacy, Oman has demonstrated that patient diplomacy, discreet communication, and mutual respect and create opportunities for peaceful settlement even in the most difficult circumstances. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the Strait of Hormuz should never become a symbol of division or conflict. It should remain a bridge connecting nations through trade, dialogue, and peaceful cooperation. The Sultanate of Oman firmly believes that genuine security cannot be achieved through military superiority alone. Lasting peace is built through trust, respect for international law, and sustained diplomatic engagement. As a nation that has consistently chosen dialogue over confrontation, Oman remains committed to working with all member states to reduce tension, safeguard maritime security, and preserve stability in the Gulf and beyond. Let us choose cooperation over confrontation, dialogue over escalation, and diplomacy over conflict. Thank you.